There is nothing. Only warm primordial blackness. Then colors. Flashes of blues and yellow.
Where is he? He should be here by now. A shape forms in the fog. A familiar silhouette. A friendly face. Someone you've come to know well. Out of the colors and light, your partner emerges. He's wearing that stupid hat again, isn't he? Oh yes, here it comes. Get ready for some dopamine.
Salut tout le monde, it's your boyadero, Lukael.
The sparkle, sire. How dost he maketh it? Salut tout le monde is a greeting frequently used in the old communes of Sur-la-Clé. You know he doesn't have the makings of a boyadero. Best not bring it up. This is a man whose self-esteem could crumble at any moment. At least he's not dancing. There's something different about him today. Of course, his face is adorned with the expression.
Welcome to the finale of Disco Elysium.
He thinks he's hosting a radio role-playing game again. The world hasn't seen real disco since the 30s, and the new, in its place, are grey clouds, the ruins of free market democracy, old-fashioned cynicism, capital, and salt in the air. What would her innocence, Dolores Day, think of Insulinde if she could see it now? You should ask her next time you meet in front of the video store. Better yet, you should try and kiss her. Hold it. Did he say finale?
I want to say I've really enjoyed this experience and getting to share it with you all, and I honestly can't wait to see how this story is going to end.
An ending? It feels like only yesterday when you two first met in Martinez. He appeared so disoriented when you first saw him in the Whirling in Rags. You worried the case might never get solved. Don't get me started on how long it took him to inspect the body. Should have done more speed. This entire thing is a joke. The real game sounds nothing like this, and you know it. Why are you still watching this? You could just skip ahead. You wouldn't miss much. Don't do it. He clearly worked hard on this. You should like, comment, and subscribe, Ratan!
So this is it, final episode. We had our dream with Dora. We've reached the end of our investigation. We found the real killer, but we still have to complete our interrogation and arrest him. And of course, we are still waiting for the mysterious miracle.
It's almost time. A cold wind blows from the west. White flowers sit in the snow. A gentle hissing in the reeds. The smell of dying leaves. In your lungs and in your bones, you can feel it. The miracle is almost upon you, like a glimmer of hope in the morning light. The ocean feels distant. The sun sets for everyone.
So one last time, thank you so much for joining me today, and without any further ado, let's finish this together.
A touch of bittersweet trepidation in his voice. You feel it too, like acid in your stomach. After all these months together, your investigation is coming to an end. Words fail to describe what you're feeling right now. They should have sent a poet. As you steel yourself for what's to come, the words echo in your mind.
Something beautiful is going to happen.
So you said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. The so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter.
We're not coalition appointed, we just try to help people. That's right, we're with the good guys. We enforce the law, we keep these animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. We're with the RCM, let's leave it at that. I mean, we're just trying to help people, to be honest. At least that's what I'm doing.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans le Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Only the army. Liberal reactionaries signed it for them. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I am a political commissar of the Communist Party, and the party never surrendered.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
Understood?
I don't think you did. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real.
I mean, it's not really my place to judge here. I'm just trying to do my job.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Ugh. Assess his body language. What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while.
But what?
This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution.
Oh.
Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped? Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cornell? I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two? Wait, so which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you, and in them a chill, like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull.
What?
All is not as it seems.
Detective.
The lieutenant turns to you with well-disguised impatience.
Damn it. Ask it already, he wants to say.
Alright, did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cornell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
You know who I mean. A beautiful, strong man sent here by the Honorable Private Military Company Cornell. His name was Ellis Courtenaire. He was part of a security detail here in Martinez. The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th. The corpse in ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? It was a death squad.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
Lieutenant takes a sudden step toward him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
A drop of blood in the saliva.
Damn, we saw that.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession.
Wait, so he's not confessing? Come on, man.
The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
You said fascist? You're admitting you killed him?
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
He waves his hand. There's a twitch, then one more one, then one more one in his right eye.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
We have the gun.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons, eh? Going against automatic rifles with a flame bomb. Of course you got all those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen.
That's embarrassing.
He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
We saved a lot of them. Their leader, Titus. We handled that situation. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. I mean, we've been calling it this whole time. We know it's him. Do you think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
Alright, I'm calling it.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
Come on, what am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes. What? My head hurts now.
Who cares? There were Maybells in the grass when you got here, and on Clausia's balcony. Is this a coincidence?
Yes, it's a coincidence because he didn't take the shot from the roof. He was here.
Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you. Ow.
Yes, ouch. So good, it hurts. Those were not modern prints. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
He looks at his running shoes covered in mud.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Wait, maybe it's simpler than that. Who cares about shoes? What is it?
Simpler? No. This is another loose thread you will never connect.
Goddamn footprints everywhere. I hate them.
The lieutenant raises his brow.
How did I miss that?
What are you doing? He's thinking. We almost got him here. Not now. Stop yourself.
People change shoes, detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? Crawling and whirling in rags. What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance? Preparing the scene? Listening in on her?
Good thing you're here, Kim, to save my ass.
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck.
Not really.
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just the last little push.
The Maybells behind the victim's window, I saw them growing here.
Damn Maybells.
Huh?
The whole island is turning white with them.
He looks at the blossoming field.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
The lieutenant's voice is soft, friendly.
I may.
A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Clasier. Ring any bells? Flowers like these were behind her window.
Clasier.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. He was a soldier too. He was a man. Was he a rapist? Like, he claimed he was gonna do it, but like, did he do it before? I wish they said he was a killer. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, because like, I mean, to see the rest of his squad, the other Crenel mercenaries, they all seemed like pretty fucked up, so I'm sure they all deserved it, but still.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He looks you dead in the eye, pupils shaking. He breathes through flared nostrils. I mean, he's not wrong.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Just nod.
I had them in my sights, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own.
But so why were the flowers on the rooftop? Like, we're establishing that he took the shot from here, right? But we're also trying to establish that he went on the rooftop and like through the pinball workshop, and like I guess he was there just to scope her out. He was like spying on them, and then he decided to shoot him.
And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Kim, I feel like we're way past that at this point. The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives. Extract a confession from the deserter. I feel like this whole time there hasn't been a task that just says catch the killer, right? I feel like if it had been there the entire game, it would have been kind of satisfying to just like scratch it out right at the end, right?
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
Why? You just told us all of that, Kim. You don't need to have him like confirm all of it. The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I love that you're asking me, Kim. Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side and turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like it,
Click.
If it's part of the shit you see,
then you pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
but then, I mean, he must have killed a lot of people before, right? Like, this can't have been the first time. So what about all the other people he killed?
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it.
This is still very low. There it is. You're under arrest. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? You didn't like his technique, or you were jealous?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
And you don't think that hatred you felt is not a reactionary thing?
And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. When we talked to Kalazi, I did think it was pretty fucked up that, like, she was fine just having sex with this guy. Then again, she's not an angel either. So, but it was her decision. She decided she was fine having sex with the guy. It's really not up to you, is it?
That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood.
Yeah, you're pretty messed up, dude.
To punish her.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding her passport, probably.
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
Okay, the fact you know all this means you stole them. You took them from there. Some kind of hidden container on the coast, you looked into it?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
I mean, we did. She told us she hid her stuff on the coast. I mean, she didn't say exactly where, but we knew this.
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
He seems confused momentarily. Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating.
That's so like horrifying to know like someone could just be like watching you when you don't know, like just stalking you, watching your every movement. It's like the stuff of fucking horror movies. Like imagine you're just going somewhere, like taking a walk in the forest. You think you're alone with yourself and you don't know that someone's just has you in their sight. Not just like in their sight, but in the scope of a rifle. Like, oh, that's a very distressing thought.
I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You miss having sex like an animal, do you?
You could tell she was a spook? From the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
And you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle?
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
How does he know these minute details about her body? Because he was looking at her through the fucking peephole in the hotel. Plus one footprint in the dust, plus two could have changed shoes, plus one found the peephole.
It quickly comes to you.
Any chance you see them through a hole in the wall?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Ah, you were watching her this whole time?
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
And you try to claim that you're so different from her. It's like, I'm not an animal. I don't care about sex. That's why I'm like stalking women while they masturbate. Fucking creep. Ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
So you've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags, and those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works.
What a fucking creep.
You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but
Keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake.
Sounds like it, yeah.
You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
It's interesting that we're having this whole conversation here before we arrest him. Like normally you would arrest him and then bring him to the station and then you would like have this conversation where you get them to confirm everything, but
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
so no one told us about you? Like no one saw this guy just going around?
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
So you were just going about your business, living your life, surviving, looking at people through your scope, and then when you saw this woman, you just stalked her all the way to the hotel, and because you thought, what, she was hot, like you started following her and even made a fucking hole through her wall just to spy on her? That's fucking terrible. You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others.
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Yeah, but when you see other people do it, you call them animals. Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to console her?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
Well, it's her fucking business, man. He shakes his head and stares at the ashes.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand, silks flowing in her wake.
This has got nothing to do with that.
It's no good, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air. It smells of burning buildings.
She did deserve a good punishing. Oh, man. I hate women too, you know. I'm not like that. I don't think like that. Men are insane. Let's go with that.
The world is insane.
He raises his gaze. Something glimmers in there. Then it's gone. Man. Just a bunch of terrible people doing things to other terrible people that also deserve it. So, in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
So that's the motive. It wasn't about starting a conflict to bring the revolution back. It wasn't about punishing this one guy. It was about her.
That's it. Motive. We have it.
To think that it all came down to something so basic, you know?
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away. We don't know where she is. She got away, but she led us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the seafort. I don't want to give you the satisfaction. We arrested her. That's really none of your fucking business.
I know she's gone. Locked up or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort.
You must have
Like
liked
she
that.
knew. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Did you like that? Her like looking right at you?
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne's Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Look north.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south.
So that's where she's gone. And she's trying to stop doing drugs? I guess that's good.
Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements and water, and across it a dark strip of ruins, barely visible if she didn't squint her eyes. There, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the Commune, then lost in the landing.
So yeah, Jean Vicmar and Judith and that third guy that I don't know who it is, they're close to here right now, like waiting for us, it seems.
He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vicmer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him.
He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know.
Special Consultant Heidelstam is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty.
Who? Fucking Heidelstam? Who the fuck is that? Why did we never hear about that guy? What has he been doing?
As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water.
Why are they waiting for me? Like, are they waiting to kill me or they're waiting to bring me back to Jamrock?
Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Lieutenant uses the opportunity to tell you in a lowered voice.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put, put, put of hatred.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
He shakes his head in grave disgust. How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
Weren't you also complaining about the Kips earlier?
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Let him finish, do not interrupt.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, Like those boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too.
Well, he's dead now, so I guess you can be happy about that.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Kwayamorang, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
He's gonna say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
I don't think sordid sex is exclusive to any social class. I kind of feel like every social class is into sordid sex, personally. Nod.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Really, you just hate women, really.
There was something about the statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Disco whores?
Whores. Whores.
Is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seats too hard. Something about the statue on the roundabout and syphilis?
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse.
Yes, I know.
The statue is an abomination.
Abomination?
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because you forgot to take it down? Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible. Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible, but mean it ironically. Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it. I'm gonna say it ironically.
No. Cynical design cockroaches like you erected a new, ironic version of it. We tore it down with honest, working-class plastic explosives. But there it is again, grinning.
He shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity.
Aw, come on now.
Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
It is the place to be. Come on, man. Every social class has art. You mentioned the Union is social democratic and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat. I'm just like going through everything you just said.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
What do you even want? Like, other than fighting your war, like what? I guess communism, that's all you wanted, right? He's a political expert on communism, so like anything else, he just fucking hates. Like he hates the bourgeois, he hates the working class, he hates the unions, he hates the capitalists, the liberals, he just hates fucking everything.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
He was a disappointment, Everard Clare.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar?
Edgar.
You mean Edgar?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You've talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Oh, are you... Okay, so you're saying it might be the Clares that got him to kill this guy, but it really sounds like it was because of Clazier. Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
Oh, did you kill that other woman who disappeared? What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
So fucking Edgar knew about you, and he let you be here?
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Did you kill the Crenel mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them. But he's insinuating something.
It's the previous forewoman, yeah. My logic is so low, though. Talk to Everett about previous forewoman. It's gonna be that. If I fail it, I think Kim is gonna bring it up.
Oh no, the connection doesn't come to you on such a pivotal moment.
Of course it wouldn't.
Dumbo, do something. You can't zone out now. This isn't Doodaloo dance time.
The Doodaloo dance time went great. That was a great role.
Slap yourself in the head again. Jumpstart it.
Wait, it was about him meeting Edgar and a deal.
By God, we are on the edge, in the very end, and you can't even remember what you're trying to connect, can you? While the murder suspect stares at you with contempt.
Kim, what do you think about this? You know,
About this deal you made.
the lieutenant immediately understands what is happening and turns to the suspect. He's like, oh, you forgot, right? That's fine. I'll take care of it.
With Edgar. The death of the Cronel mercenary was only coincidentally beneficial to the Clares. But
The previous forewoman, though.
what about the other people you've killed for them?
Ooh, just going straight for the jugular.
Other people?
Like the previous forewoman of the Union.
That's it. That's what you weren't connecting yourself.
No, I was.
I didn't fight 40 years to end up an informant for the international regime. What happened, happened.
Still dumb. Your eyes are transfixed on his digit. It's yellow with nicotine. You are the law. He must divulge the information.
Kim, we're not solving this part. What do we do? You fucking killed the previous 4 women. I know it.
Look who's up. From the drunken stupor. This one's worse for wear than me. And so emotional. Life is hard for us human beings in deregulation hell, isn't it?
We will have plenty of time to talk about this later, Mr. Dross. When you're in pre-detention. It can take years in pre-detention.
Ah, don't say that, Kim. He sounds like the kind of guy who's just going to hang himself the moment we arrest him. Like, shoot himself in the head.
Go ahead. I've been in solitary confinement my whole life.
The straggler closes his gap-toothed smile.
Ease off it. This was not an unmitigated disaster. The lieutenant mitigated it. Just proceed, calmly.
By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean René?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June.
Can't you let anyone have any fun? What do you have against Pétain? Come on. Man, he played every morning for 34 years. That's very consistent.
Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor.
Just nod.
I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model.
Of course.
There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
There's no one there.
Fat and plump. Like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross. Shoot me.
And yet you never did. Or did you? No, you can't have killed him while he was in the security booth, right? Because they said he died from like heart failure.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
You didn't ask cheerfully.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day, the blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one.
Wow.
For him.
You really hated him.
Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
You're gonna be so disappointed to hear that he's already dead. The lines on his face straighten as he looks inland.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
I think so, yeah. René's dead. He died of old age a couple days ago.
No.
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
The old commoner looks at you, his blackberry eyes shaking.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
Kim, what are you saying?
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
You cared about him?
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world.
I don't think that qualifies as caring for someone.
He reminded him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You try to think of something else, but no, it's just hatred.
I'm not sorry. Are you okay, Mr. Dross, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
Colonize the Pale? Good luck with that.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
Strange like what? I'm glad we talked about this.
Glad we talked about what?
This is still very low. I mean, I could put some points in it. I have 3 points that I'm probably never gonna get to use now, so... Could put a point in it. Let's see if that helps. It's at 42 now. Should I put more points in it? I don't know. There might be more to the game than I know. I'm also just about to get another point. Nah, let's just go for it. Assess his body language.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island, he seems surprisingly fit.
That's it?
He's prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished. But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his slouched frame. The moment passes, and you say,
Should I just put another point in it to try again? God damn it. Watch me fail twice in a row. Oh wait, it's still locked? Wait, it's not supposed to be locked. I put a point in it. Do I need to leave first? Stay put.
I ain't going anywhere.
Well, you can actually leave the conversation and just come back to it. Huh. There's this gun, the Triangong. 70 real. The bolt-action 4 caliber Triangong is the poor man's sniper rifle. While not the most reliable of firearms, it is relatively precise due to a very manageable recoil, thus allowing the shooter to take multiple consecutive shots fast. This particular piece is missing a scope though. Okay. So now can I try again?
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could not see before. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild.
I mean, he does have like cancer. He is coughing blood and shitting blood, so I don't know how okay that really is.
Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
By what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
None of this really sounds that strange for a man that's just been living alone for like 40 years, so...
Great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair.
Wouldn't a foul temper be a byproduct of his life?
Perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns, as if forced on him in a way. In summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder.
So you think he has dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile.
Mr. Dross, are you okay? How is your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
He waves his hand chasing something that's not there.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
Well, Josef Lilianovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Ellis Courtenaire.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
Yeah, to the station. The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words.
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand?
Wait, you know exactly how long it's gonna take for him to face court? Why 44 days?
Do you understand?
But...
He's afraid. Do you understand, sir?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reed's eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
What did you expect to happen? Of course we were going to arrest you.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Excuse me? Does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
There's something you're not getting here that he's realizing.
But what?
Who watches over him there while I come back for you?
I mean, we could probably fit all 3 in a boat.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that nitpicker to watch him?
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
He stares at something, who knows what, in the dust.
No, listen. Listen now.
What's happening? The music stopped.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
We could all fit in the little boat.
Actually, no.
You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct. I could come back for you. Once I've taken him to the yeah, just come back for me.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite, I'll do it.
This world? What are you talking about? Is this...
His voice
Yes.
drowns out in a sudden gush of wind.
The wind is cold from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly.
What's happening? What? What the fuck is going on? Oh my god, is that what I think it is?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Oh my god. Kim, you're never gonna hear the end of this. I will never let you live this shit down. You are witnessing a fucking cryptid, man. It's huge. It's fucking massive. Holy shit, it delivered on the fucking phasmid. It was never gonna fit in a little tiny trap.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
It really is like a fucking creature. It's like a spider. What is that?
What are you talking about?
Oh, am I just like having an hallucination? No, Kim has to be seeing this, right? The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
Kim, please tell me you see this.
You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
There is, I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Ah, Kim, please tell me you see it.
I can see it.
Thank God.
4 simple words. Thank God.
Yes!
If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means
That means the fucking phasmid is real, baby.
it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
That it would come out at this very moment.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers and takes a step toward the giant arthropod. Inspect the phasmid. Go to it carefully, it may be dangerous. Holy shit, it's real!
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you.
White at the tips, just like he said. He was fucking right.
Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Approach carefully. Oh my god. The miracle. It was that the miracle that's been foreshadowed this whole time. The miracle from the west. This is the Insulindian phasmid.
It is.
You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly so.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
Oh man, if you could catch an actual picture of it, that would be amazing. Are you sure you won't scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
That's true. You of all people would know. He continues to pull the lens open.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
We're not going to eat you. Okay, take the picture.
With the sound of metal sliding against metal, the lieutenant reveals the lens. The glass glints in his hand as he begins to slide in an ampoule. You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. The motions are quick, sudden.
You're going to scare it off?
The ampoule will produce a loud hiss. You're right. It could scare it away. I need a better moment when it's not looking.
I'll wait. I'm on standby, he thinks, his hands sweaty around the machine. The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. Slowly.
Say something to it quietly, something like... Don't be afraid.
Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out. Beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning.
Okay, so it truly is just like a giant insect. It's really hard to know how it would think. Approach carefully. I'd better not fail that. +3, Lena's childhood experience. +1, your corpse will be marked by stars. +1, the miracle way out in the west.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows.
The fact this is happening at this moment of all moments, I feel like the guy is just going to run away and then we'll lose him. Because like we're being distracted by this thing. It's crazy that Kim is letting himself be distracted from the case by this creature. I mean, it's fucking amazing, right? This is a miracle that we run into this thing. It's fucking cryptid, but Kim, you would think his main focus would still be on the culprit?
Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
If it starts to foam at the mouth, maybe I should leave. Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
What if it attacks me?
The faintest smell, like you've never felt before. Like burnt roses.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
Yeah, the lieutenant watches you apprehensively.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one, letting out that same smell, like summer burning. Apricot blossoms, white blossoms erupting, a sensation like cold hands on your face.
Ooh. Raise your hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid.
I guess I'm gonna put my hand down. Raise the other hand too.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you.
Don't pray to me, I'm nothing.
The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you,
It's so
parting the
tall.
reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle on its joints. Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god.
Okay, Kim, take the picture. Let's try this first. Tell me, what are you doing?
I exist.
Oh god, it speaks. I exist too. Is this a dream? What is happening? I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
It's wunderbar. What the fuck? Fire burning? I'm ill. If I tell you, what will happen?
Then I will tell you what it's like for me.
Well, for me, it's fire burning.
Fire? Where?
Inside. In the city, all around, it's going down. On the horizon, pale fire. This thing we're both sensing is coming to an end.
That is your problem. Nothing ever ends for me. There is only room for 2, maybe 3 pictures in my mind. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
So what if the next picture doesn't come? This creature is not the photographer, just the camera.
Is it actually speaking to me, or is this just Harry hallucinating this? Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never burn.
I kind of want to say the fuck is happening to me right now.
I don't know. You're just a shadow for me, far away, faintly transmitting, but for a curious smell.
You're the type of animal I would like to be. I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
You're a very vocal creature. It's hell. I changed my mind. I want to be you. It was very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together.
That must be incredibly hard. The Arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you.
I guess that's reassuring.
And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
Okay, that's reassuring.
In honor of your will, Lieutenant Euphrater, that you kept from falling apart in the face of sheer terror, day after day, second by second.
I did.
Detective,
Yes?
arriving on the scene.
I am a detective?
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
The killer.
He's in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration.
So he knows about you? You're destroying him?
Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads. But he has looked at me for too long, and I'm destroying him.
Wait, are you saying you're giving him dementia so he won't see you? Is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you're awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
Where does this come from? All this around us, the world.
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lilies.
Then all we can do is beat our fist against it day after day with no answer.
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum.
Yum yum.
Or read.
Wait, so
So you look like a reed and you eat reeds. Too sensitive of a matter.
yes, of course, the 3 meters tall stick insect would be offended.
So what exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds,
Are you really that old?
molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it maintain its camouflage.
And went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me.
So why are you showing yourself now?
I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51.
Accidentally, you revealed yourself to us. Are you poisonous?
Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry. It is only destructive over long periods of time.
Oh, so that's what's happening to me right now, I bet. It's like you're fucking Alamone fucking with my brain. Are you the miracle?
No. You are the miracle.
How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you.
What?
The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
How is that possible? Like some scientific experiment gone wrong? The pale is human-made?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
I don't have that kind of power.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
Blink quick? Have I always thought this way? But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. This is the gloaming I've been waiting for ever since I woke up in the hotel room. I have already forgotten the whole world once, when I drank too much. I will be extra careful not to blink, stick insect. Don't worry. Have I always thought this way?
No, you're only thinking it now. This is a revelation.
I already forgot the whole world once.
So it is already happening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
No, I told you what it's about, our fate. The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case.
I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
Yep, good call. I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
Nope, there are no more thoughts. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the scariest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the most beautiful.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. For all mankind.
What woman?
You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it.
I will try.
She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Alright, Kim, you know what? This insect's starting to judge my life. Why don't you take the picture?
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword.
Oh my god.
The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
We actually have a fucking picture of it. It is foaming. It's got so many eyes. The head looks much bigger than I thought. Wow.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before it. I'm gonna be famous now.
For all time.
Well, it's just one photo. It could get destroyed, but let's try and make copies of it. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Warning!
Run your hand up the slender limb higher. Pull your hand away.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave by wave from its stupor. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think.
Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold.
I'm about
ticklish.
to get poisoned and die.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Well, Kim, are you ready to just give up on our lives as policemen and just become cryptozoologists now? Looks like we have a knack for it. Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
He's still there. And it's gone. Just bailed out over the water.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water.
Holy shit.
And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
Items? It's gone. The lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to his brow. It can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Kim is so amazed. See? I fucking told you! You of little faith. I told you we were gonna find it. God damn it. What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
A nest? Phasmid eggs? What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
So this creature has been like giving this man dementia? Is this what's happening? What a weird, like paranatural twist on this story.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Yeah? Phasmid's gone. Check up on the deserter now. Oh, it's the helmet. Fairweather T500 helmet, +1/2 like -1 suggestion. And the scope. Holy shit. A common 30mm sniper scope attachable to almost any bolt action caliber. It uses an older style non-dotted range finding reticle. Seaweed is still stuck on the lens and it suffered water damage from its time in the Phasmid's dowry. And the fucking creepy helmet. +1/2 light. Head as battering ram. -1 suggestion. A fighter, not a lover. This monstrous looking bug-eyed ceramic helmet was in the Phasmid's nest. It still has some reeds sticking out of it, and it smells of seawater, but it's otherwise wearable, if not exactly comfortable. Putting it on feels scary somehow. Damn. Now we two can look like the killer! Well, that was quite unexpected, I'll say.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Wow, your mental state deteriorated fast.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Sir, how could you not see the phasmid?
See.
He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing.
Wave your hand in front of his eyes.
A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly.
Is this what's going to happen to us now that we've come in contact with it?
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
Does it?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
What, because you think he's like harmless now?
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
What has happened to this man?
Old age and shock.
I think it's the phasmid. And don't you hit me with like, what phasmid?
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke?
Did it not speak to you, Kim?
Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reeds for him.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross.
He touches the man's shoulder.
No response.
Maybe this is how the phasmid has stayed hidden all these years.
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
Yes, you forget it's there.
Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The old man stutters.
The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
I mean, then let's bring him to a hospital. Before, when I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated.
He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse.
Perhaps this animation is induced by something in the phasmid?
It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive.
You and me both, Kim. I think Kim is really downplaying how, like, world-shattering of a reveal this is for his worldview.
I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall.
He takes off his glasses and cleans them. When he puts them back on, he's still staring at the sea. Could it be there's something hormonal in his relationship to the phasmid?
You mean pheromonal?
He seemed a little off for a man his age, Randy.
The scope, knowing of her bruises, his disposition toward Miss Oranje? I see what you mean.
Wait, are you saying this whole thing was because of the fucking phasmid? You're not saying that, right? I talked to the phasmid. It said it's destroying him.
You should be more careful, detective. Are you sure it wasn't having an effect on you?
Maybe. Anyway, it's only trying to remain unseen. The degradation is a side effect.
A valid hunch. Long-term exposure to something like that could be neurodegenerative. Also, please be careful when approaching unknown species in the future, detective.
I'll keep that in mind on the next cryptozoological expedition we go on, Kim. He's been here a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company?
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him, like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe.
He looks at his notebook.
I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
We do have the photo, right? He shakes his head in disbelief.
No one would believe you without it.
We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the detached scope. Oh, the helmet is the helmet that was thrown in the water by Kuno, and it washed ashore on the island. It's the helmet of the mercenary. I mean, that's obvious, but I just didn't quite make the connection until now. Show him the scope.
I lost
You lost it, Mr. Druss?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie phasmid.
The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
Show him the helmet.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is. The last embers have gone out. The war is over.
Well, finally.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
I'm so glad that you also saw it, Kim. If I had to try and convince you, and you would never fucking believe me. I'm going to let you rest now, Mr. Dross.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
Hang tight.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
I mean, I do feel like one of us should stay here with him, but... Alright. So we're just leaving. Alright, so... I took a little break there to go eat, because I think I recorded like maybe 5 hours in a row. Like I started this recording when we woke up at the Whirling in Rags, and then I did everything after that. Exploring Martinez, and then like talking to Dora, and then like coming here, and this guy just kept going on and on and on. I had to take a break and go eat, so... but there can't be that much left to the game now, so let's just keep going. And see how this ends, shall we? I guess I won't be needing that gun after all then. Unless Jean and Judith like end up turning on me. Because it seemed like they've been waiting for me to come back, right?
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Let's return to the mainland.
Let's. We are done here.
It is strange that we're just leaving the guy here. Like, yeah, he was catatonic at the moment, but we saw him very animated, very aware earlier.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet.
Kim, you don't want to discuss this amazing discovery we just made?
But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you.
Are you here to kill me?
2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm.
How'd they know that's where we went?
You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
By the way, Jean, you're not my partner anymore. Kim is my new partner.
Look what the tide brought him.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head. Who is this?
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Wait, you're the man with sunglasses.
That's right. And you're bleeding.
No one else seems bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Who are you people? I don't want to tell them about the fucking insect. You guys don't deserve to know about it.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I believe we've met on several occasions.
It was you. He's not that muscular. Oh yeah, they did say he works out a lot. And who was that fucking child with you? Did you really come here with your kid even though you're part of the RCM? Wait, no, they said he was like, what, a consultant? Is that what they called him? Special Consultant Heidelstam. Oh, I never wrote down his name, that's why I couldn't. The blonde guy. Not several occasions, just one occasion.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Quemar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
Gesturing toward his companion, so why'd you finally decide to talk to me again?
Special Consultant Trond Heidelstam, Battle Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
I don't need you.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
Suddenly regaining his confidence.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
A naughty boy? Ah, Kim's a naughty boy for sure.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
No, Kim, you've got to have my back. Let's destroy them. Thank you, Lieutenant. I don't know about destroy them. I don't know. Do they want... What do they want? I don't think you're here to kill me. I guess you're here to bring me back. Why now? Why'd you suddenly decide to... What is going on here? Why to feed me to the wolves?
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
She says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Yeah, what is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
What's a shit kid? How did you know I was here? You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde. You never told me you're not the horse-faced woman. So Trent Heidelstam turns out to be special consultant Trent Heidelstam. Duped again. No one's who they say they are. You mentioned a task force? Where have you been all this time? There was a mercenary tribunal. Yeah, what the fuck have you guys been doing? What's a shit kid?
You. Shit kid? That's you.
Maybe you've deserved it.
How did you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
I saved his establishment and he still betrays me?
Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aero graffito in front of the building. It was on fire.
It was this one junior delinquent. It wasn't on fire anymore. It went out while I was there, so you're fucking lying. Yeah, I lit it on fire. It was a poetic gesture.
I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Trant? I told you it was our shit kid.
The line is from Lu Jiatun's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghost the apparition of... Good choice, Harry.
Don't encourage him, Trant.
Okay.
I didn't write it. You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true.
Exchanges a look with the consultant.
And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
I'm not insane. I'm doing just fine.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
I knew who it was. Actually, I suspected something was off. Maybe if you hadn't been so sarcastic, I would have realized I knew you. I don't like being lied to. I knew who you were.
Did you? Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been partners for how long, Harry? Don't answer that. You don't remember.
Well, you seem like a pretty shit partner, to be honest.
Judging by the familiarity you feel toward him, 2 years minimum? Or maybe a short but close stint on the task force. He's right. Don't start guessing. Now's not a good time.
So Trent Heidelstam turns out to be special consultant.
Yes, I'm Trent Heidelstam. I never said I wasn't Van Heidelstam.
What was up with the kid then?
Lukael? Lukael is my son.
What was up with all the interesting history? Spying on me?
No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Lukael wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
Him being there with his son, it was not a coincidence. It's difficult to see, but he was worried about you. And also interested in the Feld building.
So what are you special consulting then?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
No one's who they say they are.
Duped? Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily.
Gardener, scab leader, this. Tell me at least you are who you said you were.
Yes, I'm still Kinkisolagi, still a lieutenant from Precinct 57.
So this is an intervention.
Still caught up in this crossfire, too.
You mentioned the task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Refresh my memory. Who else is in this?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Tron fucking Heidelstam, and Guillaume Baby.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Yeah, who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit.
Okay.
Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
Okay, so what does the unit do?
Do? It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
Sure putting a lot of blame on me.
They're your posse, or what remains of it. Hand-picked, hand-lost.
The 41st isn't...
He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. Where have you been all this time? There was a mercenary tribunal.
God damn it, Harry.
He shifts his weight, crosses his arms, and looks you in the eye.
You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
I am Detective God, and I proved it once again. Wait, so you let me face a squad of trained killers alone just to teach me a lesson?
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
Well, maybe if you'd done something else than just sitting in the hotel for like 5 days, you would know. Why didn't you detect or die then?
Oh, you think it was cool you saying that? Aesthetic somehow? You were crying when we got here. Breaking things. You said we were going into the abyss. None of us wanted to see the abyss. So we fucked off. Like you told us to.
Well, you didn't because you're still here. None of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, Pearl, and so on.
And none of you guys figured maybe you should talk to Kim about this and like tell him that maybe I shouldn't be investigating this case? I don't get what this is about.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Wait, socio-economically, you think I'm so poor I lost my memory?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory... I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
No, not like that. I'm not talking Vredefort's cool here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
I drank so much I lost my memory, and I'm now slowly recovering it. I made it all up. It was a fantasy, a stupid joke. I know what I am. Might have something to do with an anomaly in the church, a 2mm hole in the world. I'm a highly experimental detective. This was a method I used to solve the case. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism. Capitalism fucked me beyond all recognition. Trent is right. Well, seeing as what has been haunting me this whole time was the X something. I think maybe that's what it was, mixed with the drinking.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what?
Why do you speak like that?
I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying. Or insane. Or both.
So when do we get to the part where, like, you actually help me and support me instead of just, like, calling me names and blaming me?
Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case. The other when we looked into that mural.
Yeah, both cases that we read about in my paperwork.
So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful.
Some next level amnesia.
The two cases in your ledger. The unsolvable case and the next world mural. Those were recent.
Yeah, I just have brain cancer.
Those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
You gestures toward the scenery.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a crétin now? I want to know that.
You really think you can tell just from, like, this short conversation? I would need to go, like, in a fucking asylum, like, hospital, and get studied and, like, have tests performed on my mind and, like, my cognition. It's not something you can just, like, kind of guess from talking to me for a little while.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
I'm ready to lead again. Line detective is good for now. He's wrong. I'm too far gone to work. Fuck all of you. I don't want to be in your unit. To be honest, yeah.
No, Harry. Fuck you. You already fucked us. I've already explained this shit to Price twice. To Berdiaeva 4 times. I'm your partner. I answer for you when you're not there.
When you clocked out, I became responsible for your cases and your special task force.
I want to say that's not my fucking problem, but it's not so easy to run away from your past, right? Like, this was me. Just because I lost my memory, I can't just abandon all responsibility. What now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
In the ocean?
Yes, in the ocean, under the sea. Our work vehicle, with fish and clams and other sea shit.
I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk. I thought the killer would be underwater. He wasn't. The time had come. Tequila sunset. Yeah, I drove it into the ocean.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
My badge?
The thing that tells people you're a police officer.
I lost it. I haven't found it yet. Lie. What I do have is this futuristic armor. I got it right here.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and
What?
the badge slips out of your hand.
Catch it? You're proficient in catching small objects. Item lost? How could I lose it? Catch it. Wow, that's so fucking embarrassing for me.
You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground, some 2 meters away. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid thing. Damn it.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
I mean, they're not really.
What is it with all these material objects?
Gun, just repeat gun. My gun is right here. I upgraded my gun to a rifle. Gun, badge, car, these are all things. Things don't matter. People do. Yeah, I have it here.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
I'm not drunk though. I didn't lose my gun. I have my gun. So it doesn't even matter that I found my gun. I quit drinking forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week and he's handled an actual corpse.
Yeah, unlike you guys who've done nothing. No idea what you're smelling. I washed dead of me. Wait, maybe because of the pheromone? Yeah, I've handled an actual corpse. It's been a bit of a bad week. Sorry I smell bad. None of this matters. My odor situation is meaningless compared to what I've discovered. I don't want to tell them about the fucking phasmid though. That's our little secret, Kim. Just you and me. No one else gets to know. I mean, I will tell Lena and Morel. Not Gary though, fuck that guy. Yeah, I've handled an actual corpse.
I don't believe you. You're drunk. You let a suspect escape, a certain Classier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Clasier, she was some kind of spy from the Occident, specially trained. Not taking her in was the right thing to do. She gave a vital clue that led us to the island. Okay, I got duped there. She pulled one on me. Yes, I let her go as an act of mercy. There's just a small detail in a huge case you know nothing about. That doesn't matter. None of it does. We are looking at the oxygen holocaust times a quadrillion. I have come to know the final fate of man and the universe. I think it was the right thing to do.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something? Or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 7 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
This guy's really pissing me off.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, what he said. I also solved the case. It solved all of it. Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you? I want to say all of these. The firefight is a trivial matter. No, I don't. I'm just sorry. Where the fuck were you guys? What he said.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
Well, that's very much what you did.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
Hear that? Sober now.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize profusely,
Not that much.
making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It's
Kim, you're like making a full analysis of me. It's kind of embarrassing.
just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist. He recently attempted to contact a coalition warship in order to assign la responsabilité, which is commendable, but also at odds with his own behavior.
I'm a complex man.
Other still, he is also a full-blown fascist,
No, I'm not.
an ultra-nationalist, woman-hater, and more
What?
than a little racist. How he reconciles these 2 points of view? But he is vocal about both.
I am not a woman hater. What the hell are you talking about?
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact.
Alright, I see the little compliment sandwich there. You put a lot of bad things right in the middle, but then you end it with a compliment. And so, alright. Not a woman hater. I don't know where you got that. Not a fascist either. If I said something like that, it was meant as a joke. You just didn't get it, Kim.
He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven.
Also, I can teleport, and like I can beat up giant men twice my size. I can dance really fucking good.
Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke.
I can sing well too.
Which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Tell them, Kim.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting
It's
transportation.
not really locked, but he is there.
He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
Alright, well, I mean, Kim, you're putting all these accomplishments on me, but really, we share the merit for all of these, Kim. I couldn't have done it without you, and you know, we were working together for all of these. I had your support, which is how I was able to do all of these things, so give yourself a pat on the back.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. Thick white snow falls all around you. Flakes stick to the glossy photo of the phasmid. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Oceana. Boom shakalaka, motherfucker. So, as you can see, I'm a pretty okay detective.
Fucking hell. Is this somehow connected to the case?
He ignores you, still staring at the phasmid.
Detective?
Yes, I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation.
The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Hold on to this picture for dear life, Kim. Like, if you happen to drop it, or like it flew in the wind, or we lost it somehow, I don't know what the fuck I would do with myself.
Yes. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
I also started a nightclub in the church. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. The killer, we have a strong motive for him. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell them about I confiscated drugs, but then I gave them to the kid. The killer, Lilianovich Dros, we have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
Matronym?
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms: Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian, his Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So you're saying it's not his real name?
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He killed the mercenary in an act of jealousy. Killed him hoping to start a war between the company and the Union. Killed him in an act of rage induced by the Phasmid's semiochemicals. I think it was a little bit of everything, but mostly the jealousy.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fixation, aggravated possibly by proximity to the Phasmid and its chemicals. He himself gave a political reason, said he had killed an enemy combatant.
Yeah, but it was definitely the psychosexual fixation.
Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that. Way more.
It's more than that. A perfect folding mechanism like the Phasmid. It's way more than that. It will win me Dora back. It's my masterpiece. They'll teach this in cop school. I did all I could. Every second was a struggle. Still not completely satisfied with it. Could be just a little neater. I think I did all I could.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work. In bouts. Bouts don't last. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something. It will pass. In time.
The previous head of the Debarders Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Evrard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
And I also fixed the strike situation. I mean, I gave some recommendation to Joyce, who said she was going to take it into account. I don't know if that's fixing it, really.
How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates.
He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Evrard, until the rep came to see that the Union desires war, at which point Mrs. Messier decided to...
What? Hand clear the terminal?
It was an accident. I did it for the World Revolution. I just told some people some things, no big deal. Things are calmer now. Masterminded a solution to an unsolvable problem.
Sounds like you got played, Harry. Because you were off your tits on Al Ghul.
How do you know about Al Ghul?
It doesn't matter how I know about Al Ghul. What matters is, you're Everard Clare's peony now. Just as I said. He's a mob boss, did you know? Is that why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous Union head thing? To get off Everard's hook?
No, it's nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything.
That's right.
This allowed us to stabilize things in Martinez.
Yeah, I ain't no one's fucking errand boy.
God, calm down, Jean.
Silence. Good. The man doesn't know what to say.
There was also a dead man on the boardwalk. A missing person I found.
Yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How'd you know about him?
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
Okay.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I don't really want them to take me back. I kind of want to just quit the force and maybe I can become a private detective just like Dick Mullen. Or maybe I can get transferred to Kim's precinct, the 57th. I don't really want to keep working with you guys, to be honest. I mean, none of these other things are things to be proud of, really. I mean, we did find the hole in the church. Looked into the mystery of the doomed commercial area.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is.
Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10, a commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. I looked into it. Well, the curse turned out to be possibly anthroponetical, part of my larger investigation into Martinez itself.
I'm 100% sure it didn't turn out to be that. You know, cut the amateur anthroponetic 2mm hole shit. This isn't Paradox B. We're a police force.
It doesn't look like the lieutenant wishes you to push this angle further.
I don't care what you think about it, though. I'm sorry you only have time for your police work, but I have time for everything. Cryptozoology, police work, starting dance club, anthroponetic studies. Looks like you guys need to do a little bit more.
Cut it out is indeed what he is thinking.
Yeah, none of this has anything to do with you, so... What do you say? Wanna take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
Oh, I thought the new species didn't matter.
So I have to. Jude?
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
You haven't been drinking, she thinks, so maybe this time.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
I know who I am. I have a few questions before we go.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Am I a dirty cop working for La Puta Madre?
No.
Because suspects seem to think...
You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
I told you it's not that bad.
Okay. Well, who am I?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
What?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
Oh, so I was before?
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
That does explain a lot.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair.
What do you mean? The collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed?
Your love of retro-style dance music? How you're able to perform a 360-degree spin kick?
That's right, you guys missed that.
God, even this javelin throwing freak here.
Oh God, Contact Mike.
Of course. Contact Mike.
He's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy.
Contact Mike is a reprise of the most inspiring basic sporting principle of open competition. A 5,000 to 1 rank outsider. When was this? When was I a gym teacher?
In your 20s or late 20s. You've really let yourself go since then.
Contact Mike?
Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable gulf of finance and privilege?
It is getting cold out.
You said in Courant I was a gym teacher there?
Yes, you taught gym in Courant. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Assel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
That's why I'm so good with teenagers.
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
Why did I join the RCM then?
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
Well, that's all in the past now. Okay, I see now.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
Kim is so... He's like... He's so satisfied to have finally figured that out. Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Was her name Dora?
Yeah. Dora England, I think.
Oh, we have a last name.
Not Dora Dubois.
Oh, we weren't married? So we weren't even married.
Something like that. Half Vazan. No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
Damn, 6 years ago and he's still not over it? That's rough.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it? What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Engelund really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
What the fuck, Jean? You can't just say that. Huh?
She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Like a Welkin? Dude, that's my ex-girlfriend you're talking about. Watch your fucking mouth.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin. Heartbreak Welkin. Pain Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is going down. It's time to go home.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
I mean, I've tried talking to the Lazaret of our station, but he was no help at all.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
What kind of station is it?
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
Torsen and McLean?
Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
They are damn iconic though, Torsen and McLean.
An iconic duo, I take it?
Yeah, not like us. 2 clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We are garbage.
You don't talk like an old man, though. You talk like a 40-year-old wannabe tough guy. It's such a weird... I'm not trying to shit on the voice actor here. It's just such a weird choice of voice. Like, it's just... He doesn't sound like a real person at all. He really sounds like he's putting on a voice. And the Sea Wing is...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He's anything but a loser. Although he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way.
And Price is...
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the streets in May.
Did we recently shoot up a church by any chance?
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
What happened? Why did we need to go there?
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this coast. Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
So I work in the bloody murder station.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Unlike you guys.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershoal. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
Why are we so understaffed?
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Kim's being so nice with them.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
The Phasmid. I need to tell Lena about this ASAP.
Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
Of course. A cryptozoologist. She lives in Jamrock. She told me about this Phasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over.
Oh.
Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine. If we're gonna drop you off anyway.
Yes, please.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their discovery, in part.
I mean, more than in part. I don't know if we would have really looked... Well, I guess we would have found it no matter what. So if you don't do this whole Phasmid side quest all the way to the end, does it still show up in the ending? It kind of has to, right? Because it's so closely tied to this case.
They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
Well, you're gonna have to come with me, or lend me that photo you took.
She is going to be over the moon.
She sure is.
Watch out, or she'll faint.
Kitsuragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
Are you gonna ask to be transferred to my precinct so we can be partners?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Rivershoal.
Oh, sorry, I was being selfish and thinking only of myself. He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I meant investigate. Come work in Precinct 41 with me. Just you and me together, not these other guys, just you and me together.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. And crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Come on, we're best friends now. It can't stop here, we need to continue together.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
No shortage of work.
I do like the sound of that.
Got the achievement Recruit Detective Kim Kitsuragi.
He's really considering it.
Nice! I'm ready.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Oh, so it's really not that far.
Under the evening sky, the great district turns on its lights. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls inside. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41 atop the motorway. To Boogie Street forking into the dark horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time.
A square bullet, you say?
Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmair? Yes. Dubois? Of course.
Of course.
Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the RCM. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow, of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
End. Is that it? Have we reached the end? A little pat on the back. Oh, okay, so a lot more people can fit into these cars than I thought. Huh. Am I supposed to, like Jean-Vic Mar by this point? Art director, designer, fucking... and the writer, fucking... all of these, everyone who worked on this game, y'all are a bunch of fucking madmen. And women. Alexander Rostov, incredible work. Yeah, am I supposed to like Jean-Vic Mar at this point? Like, the last shot of the game is them, like, kind of embracing. It's like, I hate that guy. He was so fucking unpleasant. Am I supposed to think that, like, he cared for me this whole time, that's why he came here? It's like, well, like, maybe if his lines had been delivered a little different, like, there would be a way to feel more of his... Because, like, I guess the idea is that he's being mean to you, but really deep down he cares about you, but I didn't feel that at all in his delivery, so... I don't like Jean at all. I want Kim to be my partner, not Jean. Yeah, pretty intriguing way to end the game. I mean, there's quite a few things that don't get closure. Amazingly, I felt like this was a very kind of self-contained game, but like I could totally see room for a sequel, because like there's a lot of things that don't really get closure. Scab Leader and Rosemary, really? Wow, a lot of people doing like more than one characters that sounded nothing alike. Yeah, there would totally be room for a sequel, because like a lot of plot points are kind of like... I mean, just by the nature of this game, having a world so insanely detailed and developed and like having so much world building, you could write a ton of games taking place in this world, a ton of stories. Unfortunately, as far as I know, the studio is disbanded now, or like the developers are not... I don't know the exact details, but like it doesn't sound like there's ever going to be a sequel, which is like super disappointing. That's a huge bummer. I'm really not the type to always want a sequel to good things, because I love one good thing. One good self-contained thing, to me that's plenty enough. Like I don't necessarily want sequels to everything, because I'm just glad we got this game even. But I won't lie, with such good world building, it does kind of beg for like something more. Even if it doesn't follow the same characters, you know? It could be like different characters in that same world. But wow. This was a very, 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 very long recording session today. I think I probably recorded like 3 episodes worth of footage. So I'm going to need some time to kind of like digest everything, kind of give you my final thoughts, but I can say I really, really loved this game. I think it's gonna stay with me for a long time. There really wasn't that much gameplay to it. This is almost like reading a book, you know, like just a very good book with a lot of choices in it, to be fair. But yeah, they just caught lightning in a bottle, like this good of a story with these great characters, this incredible art style, the exceptional writing and world building. All of that brought together was really lightning in a bottle. It really made for an incredible game that I'm glad I got to share with all of you. When I play these games, like, it kind of becomes my whole life for a couple months. I spend a lot of time in my week just recording these videos, and then I spend even more time just editing the videos together, so I have to like rewatch all the footage, and then I'm also like discussing it in the comments, making thumbnails, so it's like I live and breathe these games when I play them on the channel. And for the last few months, my life has just been Disco Elysium. But it's been really great. I really enjoyed it. And the craziest part is like a game that's so dialogue heavy normally, you wouldn't really want to replay right away, right? When you read a good book, you're not just gonna read the same book again, but because of how many choices you get and how many directions some of these interactions can go, there is actually a lot of replay value to this game. Like there's a bunch of thoughts I never even got. I'm sure there's a lot of tasks that I missed, maybe even some characters that I missed. Because I was getting comments from people saying like, oh, I've never even seen this character, or like I never saw this side quest before. And so I'm definitely going to be replaying it on my own time, and maybe I'm going to do like an apocalypse cop run where I just like say all the most unhinged things I can do. Maybe I'm going to do like just a complete disaster run where instead of trying to put my life together, I'm just going to do the complete opposite. Try and be as rude and as violent and as like unhinged as possible, just to see what happens, you know? Probably the ending would not be as good as it was here. I don't think Kim would quite appreciate me as much. Yeah, there's just so much I could say, and I look forward to discussing the game some more in the comments with you guys. It's a game that was like so smart and so rich in its text and its subtext and in the themes and topics that it was discussing and approaching and exploring. You know, sometimes when I play games, I feel like they almost made me stupider, but this is a game that actually made me feel smarter because I learned like new words. It made me look up things that I wasn't really familiar with. So I feel like it actually expanded my mind instead of just having me, mankind, be vigilant. We loved you. Are we getting a little extra scene at the end? No extra scene. I almost want to take a look at the achievements for this game. Okay, I only have 9 of 45 achievements in the end. Bother Kim after hours, he probably won't mind. Hit an all-time low with Kim. Ugh, I'm glad I didn't get that. Force Kim to reveal his secrets. How could I have done that? He never wanted to tell me his secrets. Leopard mindset. This is the kind of animal you want to be. I did see this little leopard print shirt on the beach, but I could never pick it up. Get Kim to wear the jacket. You know which one. Solve the case without even inspecting the body, which is one that you guys at one time thought maybe I was gonna get because it took me a very long time. Restore all of the hidden photos. A lot of these are so cryptic. I clearly missed like a bunch of stuff. Specters of Hope. Glimpse it while you can. And then 4 hidden achievements. So there's clearly a lot that I missed. It's kind of a shame. I mean, I don't think you could see everything in one run of this game, right? But it is kind of a shame that I missed so much. I really did try my best to be as thorough as possible in this one playthrough, so seeing these achievements, there's clearly a lot that I missed, which is a bit of a shame. But you know, with a game this dense, I think it's normal that you're always going to miss some stuff on your first playthrough, and you never get your first playthrough again. So overall, I am pretty satisfied with how it went. A few things kind of happened that I didn't want to happen. Like, I don't know why I was called a woman hater at the end. I feel like I never really said anything that bad or that like fascist, or maybe I said them as a joke, or maybe I was just like trying to expand all the dialogue and then I don't know. We got a lot of lucky rolls and really funny rolls in this playthrough. We also got a few quite unlucky rolls, but overall I'm quite satisfied with how it turned out. I think it made for a pretty funny playthrough, but you guys will be the judge of that, of course. So I'm going to stop here for now. I need to stop. It's been a very long day of recording, but I might record some final thoughts after I've had some time to digest everything, and then I'll come back with it, so... Alright, so just like Luke from the past said, I am coming back to record a few closing thoughts after I've had some time to digest the game, as I said. And what a digestion it's been, because what a delectable game this is. It's been about a week, I think, since I finished the game, and to be honest, I've just been playing the game ever since, like almost every day. I've started a new playthrough already. Like I'm trying all kinds of different things. I'm trying the other political alignments. I'm trying to do all the weird things, or like trying to be a really good policeman. I'm having a lot of fun replaying the game. I've also been watching a few playthroughs online, and I always notice new things. There are so many little details in this game. There's always like one little voice lines that I didn't hear that like maybe Kim can say, or like one of your thoughts can chime in with, or like I'll notice a new interaction, a new character. It's honestly pretty crazy how much replay value this game has. So yeah, I wanted to record some closing thoughts. I always feel the need to kind of do that at the end of especially these long playthroughs, like after I've spent so much time with these games. But with a game like Disco Elysium, I really feel like the words kind of fail me. Like my vocabulary, as you might have noticed watching this playthrough, but also if you're just like a long-time viewer on this channel, I don't have like the deepest vocabulary. I tend to rely a lot on the same words over and over again. And with a game as rich and as like beautifully written as this one, I really feel like my words fail me to describe the experience, but I enjoyed it so much. It was such a fun and like engaging experience that it's always a little bittersweet when you reach the end. Like part of me wishes these games could go on forever, but of course they have to end eventually, and this was like a pretty long game. When I planned for this playthrough originally, I read that the game was between like 25 and 35 hours long. That's what it said on like how long to beat. And my final playtime at the end of the playthrough that you just watched was 72 hours. So it was way longer than I had planned for it to be, but I'm not complaining. I really had fun the entire way through. I never felt like it dragged. I was always curious to explore like a new area, to talk to a new character. And it's so interesting because, you know, usually kind of the gameplay is what pushes you forward in a game. Like there's always the story, of course, but in this game it was like only the world, only just meeting a new character, getting to see a new portrait, getting to hear a new like voice performance, getting to learn what they're about. And like there's so many wacky different characters, each kind of like more unexpected than the last and like better realized. I think the one voice I didn't like was Jean-Vic Mar, and I kind of touched on that during the ending. Like it's nothing really against the voice actor. I don't know if it's like the accent or just the tone of the voice, but it felt really forced. Like it didn't sound like a real person. It just sounded so forced, like your partner. Like it's no one really sounds like that, I feel. So that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And like he comes off so unpleasant and so rude. And I feel like you're kind of supposed to feel for Jean-Vic Mar because like he's your previous partner, and like even though he's antagonistic to you throughout the whole game, you're supposed to kind of feel like he does care for Harry, like he's coming back for him and like he keeps giving him second chances. And I didn't really feel that in the character or in the voice. And he's actually like a really popular character in the fandom, it seems. And like I just didn't have any affection for him at all, because like every time he talks, I was like, like he sounds so annoying. It does seem like Harry really deserved kind of this bad treatment because like we told them to fuck off, and like we keep making these mistakes and they keep having to pay for it in our stead. So you can understand why he would be so angry at Harry, but like, and the craziest thing was like he had recorded lines where like you can kind of feel a bit more of his affection toward Harry, and like he sounded a little bit more natural, but then they re-recorded the lines to have him sound like way more kind of angry, and like his voice sounds a lot more forced, so I don't really know why they changed it.
Look what the tide brought in. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Look what the tide brought in. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Mar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Mar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
No, Trant. It's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
No, Trant, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Some people like the original better, some people like the new version better because like he does sound more angry, which is like understandable, but I think I prefer like the original that I heard because it sounded a little bit more natural, but it's a small nitpick. Another small thing that I didn't like in the game, and it's really just a nitpick again, so I really love the dialogue system in this game. It's amazing, it carries the whole game pretty much. The one little annoying thing is that you would never really know if an answer you pick is going to move the dialogue forward, or if you're gonna get to answer the other ones. And I think maybe some of that is on purpose, but like they don't really want you to know what's going to progress the conversation, but it makes it a little harder to really say what you mean, because like sometimes I would say something just because I wanted to expand the dialogue before moving on to the next section, you know? I feel like something like Mass Effect kind of handles this a little better, where like when you have many things you can ask, they're all going to be like lined up on one side, and then like the thing that progresses is on the other side. And they did that sometimes by having like all these different choices, and then at the end it would say like proceed. But these were not the only instances where like picking this option would move things forward. Like I wish when you had only one thing you can answer, it kind of made that a little bit more clear, just because then I would be like a little more conscious about what answer I'm picking, right? But maybe this is all by design. Maybe this is what they wanted. Like they didn't really want you to know what the flow of conversation was going to be. And if so, I guess that's fair. I just feel like it would be a little more convenient for the player, but maybe that's not... I don't think the player convenience is really what they had in mind when they made the game. It's more about like just taking you on this trip, but it's just a small thing. And also, so about the ending, I really did enjoy the ending, and like I touched on a little bit, I love the fact that even though the deserter is a new character, what he embodies is really something that's kind of present through the whole game. You know, it's like this idea of being stuck in the past, which is true of both Martinez and Harry. So thematically, things really mesh well together. Like Harry himself has a lot of different parallels and like mirror images in the game. Like you could say Joyce is a little bit like him. You could say Ruby is a little bit like him. Clazier, and of course, mostly the deserter is a lot like Harry in some ways. And this is also reflected in just Martinez itself. And so I think there's a lot you can kind of analyze and discuss about the themes that are explored in the game. So I do like the reveal of the deserter. That last section with your fellow policeman, though, I thought was like a little bit strange, because the thing with them is you know the entire game who they are, right? Because you hear Jean on the radio at the very beginning of the game when you call to report your missing badge. You hear Jean in the background and he's like chastising you. You hear Judith as well. And so when they show up in the hotel, it's kind of this weird moment of like, oh, what are they doing here? Because like they kind of, their intentions are not really clear. It sounds like maybe they're there to check up on you, but then they're very antagonistic. So you're like, okay, I guess that's gonna lead somewhere. And then they come to see you at the end, and even though the player, you know who they are, you still have to kind of guide Harry through this realization of like, oh, okay, you guys are like my old colleagues from the 41st. But for the players, like we already know who they are. So I feel like this moment would be a little more maybe impactful if you didn't know who they were. Like if they just showed up in the hotel at some point, like this mysterious guy in a wig, or even like without the fucking wig, it doesn't matter. Just have Jean and Judith show up in the hotel and act like they kind of know Harry, but like in this vague way where like you can't, like maybe they show up in civilian clothing and like you can't really get any answer out of them, and they're acting a little antagonistic, but also like they know you. And so throughout the whole game, you could kind of wonder about like, oh, I wonder who these characters are. Like, I wonder if they're going to play into something. And then when they show up at the end, it would be like this cool reveal. You're like, oh, it's these people again. And then they reveal we're actually your old squad, and like we've come to get you. And I feel like that moment would be more impactful when you already know who they are and they've already antagonized you throughout the game. You get to the end and like my initial reaction was like, I don't really care, you know, I don't really want to go back with you guys, because I built this great companionship with Kim throughout the game, and now you want me to go back to characters that I don't really care about, you know, that I don't really have any investment in, because all they've done is just like shit on me this whole time, especially Jean. Mostly Jean, really. So yeah, I feel like that ending section could be handled a little bit better. Would have made for a nice like final scene, a final reveal of like, okay, your past has finally caught up with you and now you can go back with them. I don't know. It's just some food for thought. I'm not saying it would necessarily be better. It's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts about that. I also thought it was pretty interesting that you never get to meet Edgar. What an interesting idea to introduce these characters as twins, and saying that they use this switcheroo to kind of like get around the term limit as leaders of the Union, but then you never meet Edgar. And like, I really thought we were going to run into him at some point, and you never do. So there's a lot of other plot points that aren't fully explored in the game, and it does make the world more realistic because things aren't just put in the game for your enjoyment as the player, right? They're there to make the world feel more alive, more lived in, and I can appreciate that. And that's why I said earlier also, there would be so much potential for a sequel in this world that's already all set up, like we're already familiar with it. There's already these other plot points that haven't been fully resolved with the strike, with the mercenaries, with like all these things happening in Martinez. So it would have been so great to get another game. Unfortunately, I have since looked a little bit more into the situation with the developers and Studio Zaum, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But then again, earlier today, a lot of news came out online about ex-employees and ex-developers from Zaum who have since moved on to other studios, and like a lot of them kind of like announced a potential sequel slash like spiritual successor. Like, I don't know, there seems to be something happening behind the scenes. I don't know if they're all working on like different projects or if they're like all working secretly on the same project. I don't really know what's happening exactly. This is all very recent news, so I haven't really had time to look into it deeper. But it sounds like this is maybe not the end for Revachol. We might get something new in this world yet, and if not something in this world, maybe something in a similar style made by some of the same people. I think that would be really amazing. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for anything else created by these people, because what they did here was so unique, so incredible. This world is just fascinating, and I really loved how much of it is left ambiguous. And if you know me, that's like one of the things I love the most about fiction, is when things aren't confirmed, when things are left ambiguous, left to your own interpretation. I feel like that's so much more interesting and so much more engaging for the player, the viewer, because you just set the table and then we get to decide like, oh, I wonder what it is. Like, we get to extrapolate, we get to use our imagination, we get to kind of make guesses and discuss it amongst ourselves. And there is so much of that in this game. Like the pale keeps getting described in kind of a vague way. By the end, you have like a fairly good understanding of what the pale is, but like not quite really. It's still pretty vague. The revelation by the Phasmid that the pale is human caused, like, oh, what does that mean? Like, what are the implications of that? Like, even just the Phasmid, like, did they actually talk to you? Was it all just in Harry's head? Like, what caused Harry's memory loss? It's never really confirmed. Like, they bring up a lot of possible causes, but none of them is really, like, confirmed. It could be just the drinking. It could be something supernatural, like something about the hole in the world, something about the Phasmid, something about, like, any number of things. Even just the fact that Harry can sometimes, like, predict the future, like, get these gut feelings about things that do end up happening. It's like, what's up with Harry? Like, does he actually have these superpowers where like he can predict things and like read people's thoughts? Or like, is it just his good detective instincts? Is it that he is blessed by the world spirit? Like, is he an innocent? There's so many like theories you can kind of think about and debate. And the best part is that like anything you can imagine can be true because they never confirm really any of it. Same with like Dolores. When they talk in the past about Dolores, like, was she human? Did she really have these glowing lungs? Like, we don't get to go back to the past to confirm whether that's true or not, or just hearsay, just legends, like just stories that people tell that then become like this legend. Or was it just like to be taken literally and it's like fact and that's really what happened? We don't really know, and I think that's really great. I really appreciate that about any fictional universe. And in Disco Elysium, it's not like one or two things, it's many things that are handled in that way, and I really like that. Oh, and another thing that would have been really nice is that first debriefing you get with Kim at the end of day one, where he goes outside and smokes his cigarette, and you kind of go through all the things you did that day, and like he comments about it. That was such a great moment, and I kind of wish you had that every day. I feel like at the end of every day before you go to bed, you could have this little moment where he comments on the different characters you met today, the different choices you made. And like, of course, Kim kind of comments about everything you do in the game regardless, but like, it was such a good moment, that first little meeting outside where they go through the facts of the case so far. I feel like it would have been nice to have that every night, but I don't know, maybe I'm a little greedy. So anyways, I've been rambling on for a very long time. I could keep talking about this game forever, honestly, but this is already a very, very long video. It's probably going to end up being like the longest video on the channel yet. So I'm going to have to bring things to a close, even though there's so much more I would like to say about it. But we can keep discussing it in the comments. We're not quite done with Disco Elysium yet. I'm going to do one bonus episode. I'm not going to do like a full other playthrough or anything like that, but I will do one bonus episode just to kind of explore a few different things that we missed in this playthrough, just things that I can do from reloading like an earlier save. So yeah, this is a super long video. This was a super long playthrough, but I had so much fun with it and I hope you guys did as well. So all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I had fun playing this. I hope you had fun watching it, and I will see you in the next episode for just a little bit more Disco Elysium. À la prochaine.